That was Wick Grosbeck right there, talking about the eventual sale of the Boston Celtics. Some news came out today, Mego, about the sale of the Celtics, or at least there was news, and then maybe there isn't news. NBC reported that Fenway Sports Group was among the 4, maybe 5 bidders for new prospective owners of the Boston Celtics. And then Chris Cotillo came out and said, I'm told Fenway Sports Group not involved.
This is what's so strange to me about this report. And I saw it getting aggregated a lot on social media. And so I tried to find the source of it because we see all these aggregators, which is really helpful to find news as it's breaking. Mm-hmm. But then I'm like, NBC, it's NBC Sports National. So it's not NBC Sports Boston.
Correct.
This isn't coming from Chris Forsberg or anybody connected over there as far as the byline on here. It's NBC Sports National. And the wording that they use is they say, while the bidders are not public, we know that current minority team owner Steve Pagliuca is leading one consortium making a bid. The Fenway Sports Group, which owns the Boston Red Sox of the MLB, the Pittsburgh Penguins of the NFL, and the Liverpool Football Club of the English Premier League, among other sports ventures, is also expected to make a bid. They don't attribute that to anything, but earlier in their write-up of this, they reference an article from Michael Silverman of the Boston Globe, who writes a lot about the business side of sports. Mm-hmm. And so I go to his story, and all he wrote in there that has anything to do with the identities is identities of the control person leading the 3 to 4 other groups remain under wraps. So there's nothing there. Like, there's the one line in an NBC report. It's not somebody close to the situation says, or a source with the Celtics indicates. There's no attribution, and I found it really strange. So then you have some of the Red Sox reporters like Chris Cotillo of Mass Live.
Even Bradford
Rob
confirmed
Bradford
it.
just quote tweeted Chris Cotillo, said he's hearing the same thing, that FSG is not involved. And the bidders are going to come to the table on the 23rd. So later this week, I would have a hard time imagining that there's going to be a big pivot unless all the Red Sox reporters are just getting information that's totally wrong.
So I would like to propose a question, because on the Greg Hill Show in the mornings, the show I'm normally on, Courtney had reported a while ago now that one of the people involved, or at least trying to put together a bid to buy the Celtics, was a group led by Sam Kennedy. Now, is there a way that NBC Sports National saw who was ever on this list of potential bidders, saw Sam Kennedy's name, and is attributing it to FSG when in reality it's some different consortium of actual people? And it's not necessarily technically FSG, but maybe the similar group to the people who invested in the TGL, the new golf league, where their FSG is involved, but it's not actually FSG. Do you think that's at all possible, or do you think this is just kind of a mess?
I have no idea. This report, it reads to me more like an aggregation of the situation rather than
an actual report,
rather than original reporting that the person whose byline, again, this is from the national website, so I have no idea what their process is or anything, but that there's no attribution in the article is weird. And on the point that you said, it doesn't indicate to me that they saw a list of names.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like
anything.
anyone said, hey, here's the list of names of bidders who are going to come out later this week. It looks like they read something in the Boston Globe from Silverman who says, we know Pags is in it. We don't really know anybody else. And I don't know where this Red Sox FSG item came from. It's weird. I also think Courtney has said a couple times that she saw the name Sam Kennedy. She didn't see FSG. Is
Correct.
that right?
So Courtney said that from what she was told, the person who did see it said that it was Sam Kennedy's name was involved with some group.
So Courtney didn't see it. Somebody told her that
this was a report that she had that she got from a source, and that person told her that they saw Sam Kennedy's name but did not see FSG.
Okay.
And so that's where there was confusion, because even Curtis had brought up, well, like, no offense to Sam Kennedy, he doesn't have the money to buy the Boston Celtics.
I mean, look, to be totally transparent, they want this sale to be around $6 billion because that's what's good for other owners in the league.
Correct.
So they want it to be as high as possible. I bet on the other hand, they would like to have Steve Pagliuca be the guy who buys it. Pags is going to have an enormous consortium of backers behind him. And I just outside speculating would think that Pags, a Bain Capital guy, has a lot more money than Sam Kennedy.
Oh, yeah, he has way more money.
And he still needs the reason that I would guess that they're out there, talking to Saudi money and backers like that is because they're trying to put together something behind Pags. And so if it was Sam Kennedy led, he'd have to do something even more enormous than that.
Yeah, I'm curious who the other bidders would be because it's because
4 or 5.
If you were to go by this, there's at least 4, maybe 5. And originally, I remember when when Wick had first said that he planned on, or his family planned on selling their shares of the team. I want to be clear about that, not him. His family wanted to sell their shares of the team. That the Wynn Casino name came up originally. Bezos's name had come up.
Bezos's brother at one point.
Yeah,
was involved.
Just weird there. And then of course Pags. But if there's 4 or 5, there's other names too out there. And so I'm curious who else would who even has interest, if not like FSG, right? It seems odd to me that there's that many names, but we maybe only know 3 of them. And that's if Wynn is actually involved in some capacity and Bezos is actually involved in some capacity.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And who knows who will come out of the woodwork and be a group, a consortium that's going to put together bids and be one of these 4 or 5 bidders. I would have a hard time believing that it's just outside of Pags 3 or 4 other billionaires.
Yeah.
There's going to be other groups of different
this
people
isn't Elon Musk buying Twitter.
Well, different people but who knows if Elon will get into it. I don't know. It seems like he has a busy day today. So maybe he'll be
Well, so is Bezos. So I mean,
exactly. These guys are busy. So who knows if either of those names would be in there. I'm not familiar with every billionaire that's around the country, so I don't know who. I'm sure that there's people who are bidding just because they see the portfolio and it's like something.
Well, there can also be non-local guys, right?
That's what I mean.
The Harris-led group had the Sixers, and they're like, all right, we're going to go down and get the Commanders as well, which technically aren't in the same state, or I guess it's in the general same vicinity, but not really. And so you could absolutely have people that aren't necessarily local coming in and being like, yep, we're getting involved here, let's go. Or other people that already own sports franchises, not necessarily football or basketball related, but football owners or baseball owners or basketball owners, or not basketball owners because it's basketball, hockey owners, whatever, come in and want to buy. And so that's kind of an opportunity here too. I don't know where they're getting 4 or 5 names, and we haven't heard any other names. It's really just
been
Pags.
Really quiet.
It's really just the Pags-led group.
I've been trying to suss out.
Yeah,
I know. Trying to find.
Greg asks you every week when you join us on Wednesday morning. He's like, "Any news on the Celtics sale front, Mego? What do you got?" And you're like, "Look, it's quiet on the Western Front. I got nothing."
Yeah, it's kind of surprising how quiet they've been able to keep it, and I think that's why whenever there's talk of the John Henry FSG side of it, is that it feels like such a natural opportunity that they would at least feel out that people are looking at it. Then of course people go, "Oh my God, no, not John Henry, not John Henry scooping up another group. Come on, we can't have John Henry involved in the Celtics." I just find this one particular report kind of weird. I don't really know much about Courtney's report, and it sounds like the person who told her that it all was operating in good faith. Maybe it was something that was a very early thing that they were sussing out.
It was very early on.
But if we're sitting here this week and people from FSG or sources are telling reporters on the Red Sox beat that they are not involved, I just don't think that they're involved. I just don't think they are. I just don't think that it's all of a sudden Thursday is going to... I could be totally wrong. I totally accept. Yeah. But if you ask me today, do you think John Henry is involved in buying the Celtics? I'd say no.
I think you're probably right because I don't know. They wouldn't... I feel like if that report got out there that they were involved in the bidding process, I don't think they would be the ones to shut it down. It would be the Celtics that want to shut it down because they don't want the names to get out of the people bidding. Whereas if it's the baseball writers that are the ones being like, yeah, FSG's not involved, that seems like it's probably from Henry, and he's like, yeah, or at least from that group, that camp, that they're not involved.
So the wording that Chris Cotillo used was that it's not on their radar right now. Does that sound like it's a complete denial to you?
No, that sounds like the process is going to take so long that they're not really worried about it right this minute, but that they could get involved later on when things start to heat up.